I think I did too.
Yeah, you can hit the up arrow to go back.
Okay. All right, so in here it goes a little bit further into the details of how we came to where we are right now and how the curriculum is being implemented. We definitely have in 2021 a board advocated responsibility. So on April 14th, our Board of Education, we've got two of them here, so I'm really glad that they're here. They voted, actually one of them was not on the board. I think you were on the board when that happened, maybe not. They voted to give the Family Life Advisory Committee the ability to approve materials, okay, not curriculum, but materials. So like the videos, like some books and things of that nature, not textbooks, but stuff that they use within the classroom, okay? And those videos do not now need to go back to the full Board of Education for approval. They used to. So our Family Life Advisory Committee used to be just like our policy committee, just like other committees, like the textbook approval committees, where these books are going to go through, the board's going to see it, the board's going to inevitably have the ability to approve, have the final say. They no longer have the final say when it comes to the Family Life Advisory Committee as of April of 2021. In 2022, the board voted for gender ideology. So March 23rd, they voted to adopt the Maryland's Comprehensive Sex Education Framework that teaches gender ideology, even though it was not legally required. So what they're talking about here is, in COMAR, it states pretty clearly that you don't have to teach this before 4th grade. You don't. But FCPS has approved it from kindergarten through 12th. I don't know why, but it was a decision that they made. Now, it is in the framework that way, where you can do it. You do not have to teach it before 4th grade. So that's why that's stated that way. In 2023, Maryland attempted to require gender ideology in response to Carroll County, offering its families an alternative to Maryland's framework. There was a senator that proposed requiring all counties to teach it. So now, this happened during session this year. The senator came with the MSDE and they presented their framework to be put into state law, not just into county law, okay? So not just Code of Maryland, but where it's ratified as something that needs to be done by the counties, but it's something that can be enforced by the state, because there are counties that don't want to do it, Carroll County being one. They have not implemented it yet, and they want to enforce them to do it. We don't know why. It did not pass. Okay, so we don't know if they're going to bring that back, but parents were definitely considered to be, being ridiculous by holding up the board and their work. I do understand that the Board of Education has work to do. It is a lot of people's beliefs, including my own, that part of the work is to listen to the people. And they can listen, but they also do not have the ability to do many things like what we're talking about. Could they rescind this policy? Could they change the policy? They'd have to have 3 people agree to do so. Could they rescind the framework? They could. Do you know that if 51% of the counties in Maryland rescind that framework, it won't have to be done by anyone. But 51% of the counties in Maryland have to do that in order for it to go away. So that would be a big, tall ask. So in 2023, the proposed gender policy on February 8th, Transparency and Education, proposed a policy to restore parental rights and update the science. 2023 attended flag meeting and board meetings, increasing attendance that resulted in 400 to 500 people attending the May 17th board meeting. We're just getting started. So what this slide is talking about is how more and more parents are taking notice of what's going on. There's been a few different advocacy groups. This was actually more than one group. It wasn't just Transparency and Education, which I'm not actually a part of. I just kind of consult, and I've been doing this a while, so they like to talk to me about stuff. I don't know why. But we had a couple of different groups come together, and I think it was great to see people of different backgrounds, people with different religious beliefs, people that are from the LGBTQ community. There were many different people there for many different reasons, and they weren't all there for that one thing. However, it is starting to gain a lot of attention. So what parents and citizens can do? A lot of parents ask this question, okay? They want to know what they can do. The issue is once we tell them what they can do, they don't want to do it. There's a lot of reluctance, okay? So asking for an opt-in notification. The thing is with Maryland right now, and Frederick County is one of the counties that it is like this with, it is an opt-out, which means if your child is there and you don't happen to realize that this is going to be taught and it's not something that you want, you didn't actually opt them out, they're going to learn it. Opt-in would require parental permission. So if that child does not get that permission slip, then they don't get the lesson. So if they go to school and their parents didn't get the slip, they're not going to be learning it. A lot of parents would prefer to have the opt-in, but in COMAR it says opt-out. COMAR, again, is the Code of Maryland. Removing activist materials. So no materials from Advocates for Youth, SICUS, Planned Parenthood should be used in OCPS. Now this was actually talked about in one of our Family Life Advisory Committee meetings that I attended, where it was spoken that these materials that they're going to be using for the Family Life unit should be created in-house. Now that includes the videos. They should not be taken from outside sources, right? One, because if you go to some of these three specifically, websites which they are using or proposing that be used, they are really one-sided. And the fact of the matter is, Frederick County is not one way. We have a lot of families that believe many different things, and we need to respect all of those families, all of them. You can go over the materials and have it be created in-house. We have curriculum writers. We have people that can do that. It doesn't need to be taken from one of these activist groups, and that includes transparency in education. That includes other right-winged areas. You don't have to do that. What we need to do is have this created in-house so that it's neutral. Balanced treatment of disputed ideas. So gender ideology is a belief system, and it should be treated as a debatable set of ideas. For context, students should learn how rare gender dysphoria is, okay? Removing product-based materials. Now when we talk about this, it is simply, we already kind of addressed it, right? It's kind of a wrap up at the end. This is things that parents can ask for. You can definitely email the Maryland State Department of Education. You can email your local board. You can email your school principal. You can go and speak to people in person and ask, do you have, if product materials that are, labeled are a problem for you, go and talk. Be present in your kids' experience and in your schools. That is really important as a parent. No matter what side of the aisle you lie on, no matter, you could be right in the middle, right? It's still important to be involved. Okay, so another thing that you can advocate for, again, and this has been brought up by one or two of the current board members in Frederick County, is to kind of restore that final say to our full board, as opposed to just being with FLAC. Part of the reason for that is the Board of Education, those are people that are voted in by Frederick County residents, right? We have chosen these people to represent us, our kids, our schools, our teachers. These are the people we all wanted. Okay, they're all there, and they're there for a reason. These committees are appointed. They are not chosen by the citizens of Frederick County. They're appointed, and we don't know how they appoint them. We don't know how they are chosen, but it has nothing to do with the citizens, the students, or the teachers, or the parents, nothing. It's really, they are definitely just built. So to give that board or that committee of people voting power and final approval of materials that could be inappropriate in some parents' minds, it'd be better if it went through the board, just to have more eyes on it. Also gives the public another view at it. Most FLAC meetings are at about 4:30 in the afternoon, and not everybody can get to them. Board meetings are at 6 p.m. It would be great to be able to be at all of those meetings. Not everybody can do that either. But the board meetings are also live streamed. All right, scientific review by recognized experts. So the current proposed videos and other materials have glaring errors that are not being caught by staff. So these are some of this goes more into the same thing that Tom was talking about earlier. There are errors that are in some of these materials. Now, that video was not voted on that he talked about. They're going to be bringing that back up in the fall. We will see how that, how that develops and if they're actually going to use it. So written standards for sex ed materials. This would establish objective criteria for what is and isn't appropriate, currently based on committee members' opinions. Again, that's that committee, the SLAC committee, Family Life Advisory Committee, and parental choice. So this is an interesting one, and I just read this slide today, so you'll have to excuse me if I can't really go into detail about this last part, but it says here that some parents may want more LGBTQ plus materials used, and others may want less. Some parents may want to encourage sexual exploration, and others may want to emphasize traditional morality or abstinence, or letting parents choose avoids controversy. So that's where that opt-in would come more into play. Okay, giving parents a little bit more of a guiding role for their children. It is important to a lot of parents. Most parents you're going to come in contact with that have children love those children. We want to see those children succeed. We want to see those children get the academics that they need. We know that our academics are struggling right now. That's more where the emphasis should be. That's what some people believe it. But parental choice is important on both sides. Your kids should be able to get the education that you would like them to have, that you believe they need. We as the parents know our kids better than anybody else.